a Roman Catholic family, so I went to Catholic elementary school, served as an altar boy at the local parish church, and then after when I got into high school, I went to a public high school, so I was sort of separated from the church for a while. Didn't really pursue that, as I was, caught up with the world and what being a teenager was all about as I was growing into a young man. But at some point later in high school, in my senior years, I started to feel more spiritual. So something moved in me to tell me to go back to the church. Or at least that's what I knew, so that's where I went. And I think my first time sitting, halfway through a mass as a young adult, I realized that it was all a lie and it was full of hypocrisy. And I turned my back on the church that day. Unfortunately, like a good Catholic, I'd never read the Bible. So when I turned my back on the church, I threw the baby out with the bathwater and rejected everything. The church itself, Yeshua, and seeking truth. I got into some of the New Age type of path. I got into Wicca for a few years. Was actually part of a coven. That didn't agree with me either, though. Something about all these different gods and goddesses, it just didn't sit right with me. And eventually, after reading a bunch of books by an author named Carlos Castaneda, who you may or may not be familiar with, all about shamanism and sorcery and more of a Native American type of spirituality, but also involving hallucinogenic drugs like magic mushrooms and peyote. So I got very fascinated with that and followed the path of the warrior for many, many years. And in some ways it was very beneficial and had a positive influence on my life, because there was some truth to it. But I stayed with that until I had an awakening, I guess probably starting in late 2009. I had a pretty good job with a bank, and they were going through restructuring, and I got laid off. So I was suddenly out of work, and while I was looking for work, I was spending time on the internet, and I guess just I realize now that it was the Most High pushing me in a certain direction and preparing me. But at the time, I didn't know what it was. I was just browsing through something on YouTube, and you know how you see the little, sidebar of videos. I happened to see one. I think it was the interview Alex Jones did with Aaron Russo about the New World Order and the Rockefellers and 9/11. And after seeing that video, it really opened my eyes, and it changed my life forever. So once my eyes were opened up and I realized that a lot of things we had been lied to about, I started researching feverishly. I was hungry. I wanted to get to the bottom of it and find the truth. And yeah, my whole life I knew something was wrong in the world. Just could never put my finger on it. So anyway, it took a good year of researching as a quote-unquote truth seeker, going through the various conspiracies and different rabbit holes, whether it be aliens or ancient civilizations, the Anunnaki and Nibiru and all that stuff. After about a good year of research, and I was not seeking the Most High, I have to admit. I was seeking the truth, though. And I believe that's probably why he revealed himself to me. Anyway, everything I researched led me to the same conclusion, that the people running this world were very evil people, and that they worship the Hasatan. So once I was able and ready to accept that reality, I was again open to the possibility that maybe the Yah of the Holy Bible is for real as well. And once I became open to that, I started researching it. I got myself a Bible. I started just researching various topics, and something happened to me specifically. Aside from the odd bout of sleep paralysis, something very strange was happening to me whenever I was just out in the world. Everywhere I went, it seemed like somebody was ready to get in my face or in my business. I was not seeking conflict with anyone. I was just minding my own business, but I'm the type of person that would walk fairly quickly, always sort of in a hurry to get where I was going. And whether it be in the subway, the bus, the mall, anywhere I went, it always seemed like people were going out of their way to get in my way. I could be on a completely empty subway and someone would come and stand right in my face. And I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was going crazy. And then in my research, I came across the knowledge, although I knew nothing about deliverance, I came across the knowledge that there are demonic forces out there that influence people, and that they can be overcome by calling out to Jesus Christ. So I had nothing to lose, so I tried it. Every time someone got in my face, I just, without even knowing about rebuking demons or binding them, I just called out for Jesus Christ. And within a short matter of time, it stopped. That form of persecution I was experiencing over several months just stopped. And it proved to me beyond the shadow of a doubt that our Messiah is very real. So I started reading the Bible, and I was researching online. I was still coming into sort of a Christian mindset. I hadn't been awakened to the Israelite truth yet. But I was studying through teachers online like Walter Veith, who's a Seventh-day Adventist, but still very knowledgeable in the Word and does some very good teachings. I even learned a lot from people like Michael Hoggard, who I now view as a total charlatan and false prophet. But at that level where I was, where I wasn't ready for the meat yet, just the milk, he was able to give me some understanding that I didn't have. Now, I know now that this was the Most High working in stages, sort of pushing me in baby steps to where I needed to be. Because he knows our hearts, and he knew that I have a somewhat intellectual or analytical mind. He knew that I wouldn't just be convinced. I had to be convinced in a certain way through my own research before I believed. So he led me down that path. This is what I believe anyway, what I can testify to, which I've witnessed and experienced. So anyway, at some point in, I think it was late 2010, I came across some videos by our beloved pastor, Pastor Dowell. And these were videos about silver, firearms, politics, and I really liked what he had to say, so I watched several of his videos. This was before I came into the faith, so I wasn't ready for that at that point, and wasn't really interested in his spiritual teachings. I just thought, you know, okay, I'm not into this Jesus stuff, but for a pastor, this guy's pretty cool, and I like what he has to say. So I watched several of his videos, and then sort of, you know, things happened, and sort of went on to researching other things, and he was sort of out of my mind for a while. But then I guess in early 2011, probably by February, March, this was when I had had my experience with the demons, or what I believed were people being influenced by demons. And I, you know, had started studying enough of the milk that I was starting to get ready for the meat. And somehow, when I was ready, the Most High pushed me back towards pastor. So now I started listening to his actual spiritual teachings, and I was tuning into Blog Talk Radio for his broadcasts, as well as the Sabbath evening brother segments. And, you know, sort of listened for several months behind the scenes. I would chat with a few people. I think probably Sister Shannon and Sister Rose were the two people from the ministry that were the most friendly and welcoming to me in the beginning, before anybody knew who I was, where I was just this, I think I was logged in as the Ugly Truth Toronto. And, you know, after a while listening, you know, and sort of proving all things, and checking out the ministry and pastor, I realized that was, you know, what spoke truth to me and what lined up with the Word. So the rest is history. I've been here ever since, and I've had the pleasure to get to know you and all the saints, you know, pastor as well. So praise the Most High for calling me out of my sin and wickedness and ignorance. And I hope that me sharing this testimony with you will give you something useful for your teachings, so that you may edify others. So shalom, bless you all, and I look forward to seeing you soon.